For those unfamiliar, Gordon Liu was the face of martial arts movies for a long time. And he wasn't just any other actor, he was a master martial artist who brought a level of authenticity and intensity to his roles that few could match. He wasn't afraid to get his face bruised, and his fight scenes were epic, just like Bruce Lee. So today, we're gonna take a look at 18 of his most acclaimed kung fu films, and find out why he was the master of his craft. Let's go.
Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
The 36th Chamber of Shaolin, 1978. This film is considered one of the greatest kung fu movies ever made, directed by Lau Kar-leung and starring Gordon Liu. It was a turning point in both their careers. And a fun fact, the rigorous training sequences were inspired by real Shaolin training methods. It begins with Liu Yude, a young student witnessing the brutal suppression of his town by the Manchu government. Seeking revenge, he joins the Shaolin Temple, where he is renamed Santa. The temple's abbot allows him to train, and Santa embarks on a grueling journey through the 35 chambers, each designed to hone different skills. From physical endurance to mental fortitude, Santa masters each chamber, showcasing the disciplined training of Shaolin monks. His ultimate goal is to create a 36th chamber, where ordinary people can learn martial arts to defend themselves. In the end, Santa returns to his hometown, where he uses his skills to fight against the oppressive regime. The 36th Chamber of Shaolin is considered a classic in the martial arts genre, not to forget that it has inspired countless films, TV shows, and even video games. The 8-Diagram Pole Fighter, 1984. Directed by Lau Kar-leung, the 8-Diagram Pole Fighter is all about revenge and redemption. The Yang family was betrayed during a battle, resulting in the death of most of the family members. The fifth son, Yang Wulang, survives and seeks refuge in a monastery. Consumed by grief and anger, he undergoes rigorous training in pole fighting, mastering the 8-Diagram pole technique. Meanwhile, his sister, Yang Pa-mei, also seeks revenge. All this leads up to a climactic battle where Yang Wulang confronts the traitors and avenges his family. The 8-Diagram Pole Fighter is celebrated for its intense action sequences and emotional depth, and remains a favorite among fans. But things weren't smooth during its filming. They faced a major setback when actor Alexander Fusheng tragically died in a car accident during production. Ultimately, the script had to be rewritten, and his character was removed from the final showdown. Kill Bill Volume 2, 2004. There's no way you haven't heard about this one. Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill Volume 2 continues the story of the bride, as she wants revenge against her former associates. Unlike the first volume, which was action-heavy, this installment is more about the characters' backstories and motivations. Volume 2 picks up where Kill Bill Volume 1 left off, with the bride having flashbacks that reveal her training under Pai Mei, a ruthless martial arts master who teaches her the deadly 5-point palm exploding heart technique. That sounds badass. The bride's journey isn't an easy one, and she comes across her former associates, including Bud and L. Driver. And for the much-awaited climax, we get a showdown with Bill. What can I say? Kill Bill franchise is definitely a standout in Tarantino's filmography. Quentin Tarantino originally intended to release Kill Bill as one film, but due to its length, it was split into 2 volumes. That's a smart decision. Nobody likes to stay in theaters for more than 2 hours anyway. And of course, the training scenes with Pai Mei, played by Gordon Liu, were an homage to classic kung fu films. Heroes of the East, 1978. Ho Tao, a dedicated kung fu student, is arranged to marry Yumiko Koda, the daughter of a Japanese business associate. Initially resistant to the idea, Ho Tao changes his mind when he meets Yumiko and finds her attractive. After their marriage, Ho Tao discovers that Yumiko is also a martial artist, proficient in karate. Now, unlike a normal person, Ho Tao was offended. Ho Tao, who believes that Chinese kung fu is superior, tries to persuade Yumiko to adopt more feminine and effective Chinese martial arts styles. But Yumiko was proud of her Japanese heritage and martial arts skills and refused. And she was offended, so she returned to Japan. In an attempt to bring her back, Ho Tao sends a letter challenging Japanese martial arts, hoping to provoke Yumiko into returning to China to prove her skills. However, the letter is seen by Takeno, Yumiko's childhood friend and martial arts sensei. Takeno thought that the letter was an insult to Japanese martial arts and shared it with other Japanese martial arts masters. Takeno told Hotao that he would face a different Japanese martial artist each day, each specializing in a unique discipline. Throughout the film, Yumiko realizes the gravity of the situation and decides to help Hotao by providing insights into Japanese martial arts techniques. It's a nice comedy, and you can add it to your watch list for this weekend. Fist of the White Lotus, 1980. Hung Wen-ting seeks revenge for the death of his master at the hands of the White Lotus clan. The antagonist, White Lotus, is someone with near supernatural abilities. Hung Wen-ting undergoes rigorous training to develop new techniques to defeat White Lotus. And of course, Hung Wen-ting confronts White Lotus and avenges his master. The fight choreography and the portrayal of internal martial arts techniques makes this film pretty unique. Hung Wen-ting's journey from a student to a master capable of defeating a seemingly invincible opponent is both inspiring and thrilling. You should get inspired by this and chase your dreams. And also watch the movie. Return to the 36th Chamber, 1980. Return to the 36th Chamber, directed by Lau Kar-leung, is a sequel to the iconic The 36th Chamber of Shaolin. Cho Chun-chi is a con artist who's impersonating a Shaolin monk to help workers fight against their oppressive employers. His deception is eventually discovered, and he seeks refuge in the Shaolin Temple. There, he learned the true essence of martial arts. His journey from a trickster to a genuine martial artist is actually fun to watch. And yes, the sequel is lighthearted, and Cho uses his newfound skills to help the workers and defeat their oppressors. Legendary Weapons of China, 1982. Lei Kung, a former member of a secret society, gives up violence and goes into hiding. Good for him? Not at all. The society, fearing that his knowledge of martial arts poses a threat, sends assassins to eliminate him. Lei Kung is met by a series of confrontations, each showcasing different traditional Chinese weapons. I think that the movie reflects on the relevance of martial arts in a world where modern weaponry is becoming common. As the name suggests, Legendary Weapons of China remains a classic in the martial arts genre, and is highly regarded for its action sequences and philosophical narrative. Shaolin Mantis, 1978. Wei Feng, a spy sent to infiltrate a rebel family, learns the family's martial arts style, Mantis Fist, and becomes romantically involved with the daughter. Talk about screwing up the job. As Wei Feng becomes more integrated into the family, he faces an internal conflict between his loyalty to the mission and his love. When his true identity is revealed, Wei Feng must face the consequences of his actions and the betrayal felt by the family. I have to say, this Shaolin Mantis is quite tense from a dramatic point of view. It's a nice change from movies where people fight mindlessly. Challenge of the Masters, 1976. This film marks one of the early collaborations between director Lau Kar-leung and actor Gordon Liu. Wang Fei-hung is eager to learn Kung Fu, but is initially denied training. After proving his determination and resilience, he becomes a student of the legendary master Luk Ah-choi. We get to see Wang as he becomes a skilled martial artist from a novice. Now, obviously, this highlights the importance of discipline, respect, and perseverance, and the training sequences are detailed and authentic. When the time comes, Wang Fei-hung uses his skills to defend his honor and protect his community. Shaolin and Wu-tang, 1983. A corrupt Qing official instigates a conflict between the Shaolin and Wu-tang martial arts schools. Not cool, dude. This might be a bit cheesy, but in standard anime style, the protagonists, one from each school, initially view each other as rivals. However, they realize that they must unite to defeat their common enemy. If you're new to martial arts and want to know the difference firsthand, then check out this movie. The protagonist's journey from rivalry to brotherhood is basically the whole story of the Shaolin and Wu-tang, and they combine their skills to defeat the Qing official. Disciples of the 36th Chamber, 1985. This is the third installment of the 36th Chamber series. It focuses on the younger generation of Shaolin disciples and their training under the guidance of Santa, played by Gordon Liu. Fang Sai-yuk, a rebellious young martial artist, is sent to the Shaolin Temple for discipline. Under the guidance of Santa, he learned the values of patience and humility. Like its prequel, this one is filled with humorous moments, as Fang's mischievous nature often ends up in comedic situations. As he progresses through his training, Fang transforms from a rebellious youth to a disciplined martial artist. Soon enough, Fang uses his newfound skills to defend the Shaolin Temple and uphold its values. Executioners from Shaolin, 1977. Have you heard of the very famous tiger and crane techniques? I'm sure you have, and you'll get to see them. Hung Shi-quan, a Shaolin disciple, is seeking to avenge the destruction of the Shaolin Temple by the Qing forces. Hung Shi-quan and his fellow survivors join an opera troupe. using it as a cover to continue their resistance against the Qing dynasty. During their travels, Hung meets and falls in love with Wing Chun, a skilled martial artist proficient in the crane style of Kung Fu. They marry and have a son, Wen Ding. Hung and Wing Chun train their son in both the tiger and crane styles, hoping to prepare him for future challenges. After years of preparation, Hung Shiquan sets out to confront Pai Mei. He infiltrates Pai Mei's stronghold and engages in a series of battles with his henchmen, thanks to the tiger style. Despite his efforts, Hung is unable to defeat Pai Mei and is forced to retreat. During his escape, he's gravely injured but manages to survive. Back home, Hung continues training with renewed determination. He constructs a sophisticated training dummy designed to simulate Pai Mei's vulnerabilities and improves his techniques further. Meanwhile, his son, Wen Ding, grows up, learning both the tiger and the crane styles from his parents. Years later, Wen Ding, now a skilled martial artist, decides to take up his father's mission. He confronts Pai Mei using a combination of tiger and crane techniques. Now, this isn't some short story because it spans 2 generations, as Hung's son continues the quest for vengeance. I feel that the intergenerational element of the story is awesome, because while this whole trope is overused, it's shown beautifully in Executioners from Shaolin. And let's not forget that the action scenes are top-notch. How about you check it out tonight? Dirty Ho, 1978. No, it doesn't mean what you think it means. Dirty Ho is about Wang Chenxin, the 11th Prince of Manchuria, who lives in disguise as a sophisticated jewelry dealer and connoisseur of fine art and wine. Despite his royal lineage, Wang has no desire to become the emperor, and prefers his peaceful, low-profile lifestyle. However, his peace is disrupted when he discovers that one of the other 14 heirs to the throne is trying to assassinate him. Wang is a master of martial arts, but keeps his skills hidden to maintain his cover, and his path crosses with Ho Qing, an infamous jewel thief at a brothel. The 2 men initially clash as they compete for the attention of the courtesans, with Wang using his legitimate jewelry and Ho Qing using stolen goods. Despite Ho Qing's effort to fight Wang, he's repeatedly bested by Wang's subtle and skillful deflections. When the police arrive to arrest both men, Wang discreetly shows his royal seal to the police captain, who then orders his men to leave Wang alone and detain Ho Qing instead. Yes, show your privilege whenever you want. Wang confiscates Ho Qing's stolen jewels and continues his evening with the courtesans, and Ho Qing is released from jail, but soon finds himself in trouble again as he tries to retrieve his stolen jewelry from Wang. In a clever twist, Wang pretends that a female musician, Choi Hung, is his bodyguard. He manipulates her movements to make it appear as though she's fighting Ho Qing, eventually grazing him with a poison blade. This is part of Wang's plan to protect Ho Qing from his own reckless behavior. Ho Qing seeks out Choi Hung for the antidote, but Wang informs him that she's moved away and left the antidote with him. Wang uses the antidote on Ho Qing on the condition that Ho Qing becomes his student, and together they try to eliminate the assassin. How did they do it? Watch Dirty Ho and find out. The Shaolin Drunken Monk, 1982. Gordon Liu plays Lao Chung, the son of a respected kung fu master. His father is murdered by his own students, who have turned against him, and this forces Lao Chung to flee for his life, leaving behind his home and everything he knows. His mother, unable to bear the grief and dishonor, commits suicide. That was too dark, too soon. While wandering, Lao Chung sees a hermit with a deep history in Shaolin and drunken kung fu. This hermit decides to take him under his wing. Under the hermit's rigorous and unconventional training, Lao Chung learns the art of drunken kung fu, a style that combines fluid, unpredictable movements with powerful strikes. Hey, you can see this style yourself. Just head to your local bar. With his skills, Lao Chung sets out on a mission to avenge his parents' death. He confronts various minions and allies of the men who betrayed his father. Along the way, he kidnaps Ying Ying, the daughter of one of the traitors, hoping to use her as bait to lure out his enemies. Ying Ying eventually falls in love with him. Stockholm Syndrome is wild. However, Ying Ying is devastated by the realization of her father's crimes and takes her own life. Didn't see that coming. So what happened to Lao Chung? Watch The Shaolin Drunken Monk to know more. Crazy Shaolin Disciples, 1985. A group of Shaolin disciples who are known for their unconventional and often humorous approach to martial arts are met with misadventures. Despite their unorthodox methods, the disciples demonstrate their martial arts prowess and the values of Shaolin training. The film has a showdown where the disciples use their unique skills to overcome their adversaries and uphold the honor of Shaolin. The story begins with a raid led by a deadly Manchu enforcer, played by Lo Lie. During this raid, rebels Hong Siquan, Fang Sayuk, and Hu Huiqian are forced to flee for their lives. Seeking refuge, they arrive at the Shaolin Temple. Fang Saiyuk and Ho Hui-Qian, however, are not your typical disciplined students. They're mischievous and playful, often getting into trouble with the temple's strict rules. Their antics lead to numerous comedic situations, especially when they clash with the young monk Wu Qing, played by Gordon Liu. Fang and Hu begin to adapt to the temple's ways, and the plot thickens when the Manchu enforcer discovers their whereabouts and plans an attack on the Shaolin Temple. This impending threat forces Fang, Hu, and their fellow disciples to band together and defend their sanctuary. Shaolin vs. Evil Dead 2004. Pak, played by Gordon Liu, is skilled in both martial arts and mystical practices. He's dedicated to protecting the living from supernatural threats and is accompanied by his 2 bumbling disciples, who provide comic relief throughout the film. The story kicks off when Pak and his disciples are called to a remote village plagued by strange occurrences and mysterious deaths. Upon investigation, they discover that the village is under the influence of dark magic, thanks to an evil sorcerer named Dr. Magma. Dr. Magma has been using his powers to reanimate the dead, creating an army of zombies to do his bidding. Hey, this reminds me of Reanimator, another good movie. Anyway, Pak and his disciples set up camp in the village and began their efforts to cleanse the area of evil spirits. Pak uncovers Dr. Magma's ultimate plan, to harness the power of the sacred grounds beneath the village and become the king of vampires. That's horrible. So what happens next? Does Pak succeed? Watch the movie to find out. Legend of the Liquid Sword, 1993. Chor Lao-hyung has been trained in martial arts by his master, Kuk Ku Kao Pai. His skills are exceptional, and his master sends him to the Shaolin Monastery to participate in a prestigious martial arts contest held once every 10 years. On his journey to Shaolin, Chor comes across 2 companions, Wu Tit-fa and Chung Yuan Yat Dim Hung, who join him on his adventure. Upon arriving at the Shaolin Monastery, Chor faces off against a Shaolin student named Mo Fa, and since their initial duel ends in a draw, they agree to a rematch. However, their rivalry soon turns into friendship, and they decide to explore the palace together in search of excitement and adventure. This sounds so similar to the plot of Shaolin and Wu-Tang, which I just covered a few minutes ago. Their mischief leads them to the palace on the night of a royal wedding, where they inadvertently disrupt the festivities and are caught in a trap. With the help of Chor's friends, they manage to escape, but their troubles are far from over. The evil Bad Prince, the son of a Japanese ninja, has sinister plans. 17 years earlier, he challenged the 3 best fighters in China, and after being defeated, committed suicide in shame. Bad Prince seeks revenge and aims to dominate the Chinese martial arts world. If only he had better things to do with his life. To know what happens next, go check it out. Tales of a Eunuch, 1983. Tales of a Eunuch is about Xiu Bo, a mischievous gambler and troublemaker, living in a brothel run by his mother. His carefree life takes a dramatic turn when he gets involved with a group of rebels fighting against the corrupt Qing dynasty. He encounters an elderly eunuch who's an evil martial arts master. Through a series of comedic and chaotic events, Xiu Bo ends up impersonating the eunuch's servant. Xiu Bo's impersonation leads him to the imperial palace, where he becomes involved in the complexities of the court. The emperor, who's secretly studying martial arts, takes an interest in Xiu Bo, unaware of his true identity. Xiu Bo learns about a secret Buddhist text that holds immense power, and the evil eunuch master, along with other factions within the palace, is also seeking this text. Just watch the movie for the sake of Gordon Liu, that's all I'm gonna say. Marvelous Verdict. Boy, I hope I pronounced all the names correctly. Almost gave myself a tongue twister out there. Gordon Liu was the real deal when it came to martial arts, right next to Bruce Lee. His movies were a blast to watch because he always found a way to incorporate humor into his fights. From his early days kicking butt in Shaolin Temple to his later masterpieces like Drunken Master 2, Liu is a legend. He's inspired countless martial arts and filmmakers, and his passion for kung fu is still felt today. You won't be disappointed. Do you have any more martial arts movies on your mind? Tell us in the comments.
And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.